Bonus time. This is all we talk about around here. All our clients talk about equities traders. What are they going to see this year and why?
Unfortunately, I don't want to be the Grinch, but the volumes were down this year in equities. So they're going to see a little bit backlash. Last 2 or 3 years, they've steadily increased compensation in the equity division. So this year, being slightly down as the volumes weren't as great and as the returns in terms of the revenues that they generated weren't as high. So they're going to probably see a little bit of a backlash in their bonuses.
So one thing I thought that was interesting about your report was that the quants apparently aren't going to get an increase, I guess, this year. I thought they were the kings here. I mean, what's going on there?
So the way we present it to our quantitative candidates when they come in is that the flat is the new up this year because it's that kind of a year if you understand, right? Yeah. So they're not, bank-to-bank bids that exist, where they can just jump in and they get 30-50% premiums to move. Those days are over, But there are still some spots, some bright areas within, quantitative strategies where they might see a little bit increase, not nominal increase, I should say, not really high. Could be the credit area, could be the credit algo area where, a lot of banks have invested in, could be the rates, algo area, and some of the fixed income electronic trading pieces, that the banks have invested in the last couple of years.
A guy in London, are the quants going to get paid more money on Wall Street than they are in Silicon Valley? Is presumably the competitive pool is much greater when it comes to these guys? It's
hard to say because we see both transition from Silicon Valley onto the East Coast, and then we see a lot of candidates that want to move from New York to the West Coast. And what we see is that it's a lifestyle change that a lot of these candidates want. So quants are very special, unique breed of candidates that exist. They are more motivated by challenges, and they're more motivated by, different kind of aspects of building things than, your normal sales individuals or your, traders would. So we see the transition. Sometimes we see, Silicon Valley win, and sometimes we see the banks win. So it's a toss-up.
We've seen a lot of high-profile hedge funds shut this year. How is that affecting the supply-demand story when it comes to talent?
So, when a lot of these businesses shut down, there is enough juice in the system to absorb a lot of these people, into various different functions. Sometimes some individuals look at this as a way of changing careers, and some go back to medical school to be doctors, some become headhunters, some go in and start looking at other areas. I just found one candidate yesterday who I met who said that he wanted to be in the sports business, so he was sick of Wall Street. So this is a great opportunity for some of these displaced talent to go and find new avenues and new ventures for themselves.
So one area that we're seeing a lot of activity is in wealth management. We've seen obviously a lot of the big money center banks sort of shift a lot more attention to those areas, and even in some of the mid-tier levels, that's also been occurring. What's the hiring look like there, and what are sort of the, income prospects for some of the folks out there?
So in wealth management, what we have seen that a lot of the business is transiting to smaller shops as well across the board. So there are a lot of boutiques that have come up that have new products. They go and they woo the investor a little bit different. In a different way, charge less fees, but those guys can expect to get paid more because they're on percentage, payout deals across the board, and some of these other wealth managers that are working for large institutions are not. So that's where we see a little bit of a disconnect in terms of how those individuals are getting sort of compensated. But as wealth increases globally, we see that a lot of these managers are going to have a lot more wealth under them, and as their fees increase, they get paid more.